What's up, guys? How's it going? We are back with another video, and this one is more of a discussion. Reason for that being I'm pretty sick, so I probably won't be able to do all the editing that I normally do. So if you also hear me coughing or pause to cough, I'm sorry, but yeah, I've been in and out the hospital, which is why I haven't been able to do videos. But thanks to my play group, I have an interesting topic for us today. Since Midnight Hunt just came out and Crimson Vows are on the rise, me and my play group are actually having a discussion right now at the time I'm recording this, because someone said that vampires are better than zombies, and I completely disagree 100%. Sorry, I won't have my camera on just because, like I said, I feel sick, but sorry. But yeah, no, I just can't. So with the discussion, zombies and elves are at the top of tribes for a reason. Elves have so much support, it's ridiculous. Zombies are getting more and more support, which is ridiculous, and they've even bumped dragons down recently. And then you have vampires at number 5 now, when they used to be number 4 actually, which is pretty interesting. So getting into it, with zombies having recently, got more staples, I guess you could say. Zombies themselves are just really powerful. Every time zombies come out in Magic the Gathering, they dominate the meta, and it's for a good reason. I mean, they're an extremely powerful tribe. You can even say that they've dominated the meta more than elf tribes, just because when zombies come out, they go hard. Elves usually come out with a couple mana dorks here and there, maybe something to give them plus counters, maybe something to draw them cards or give them flash. But when zombies come out, they completely take over the meta, and that's both in standard and even commander now. Like, since I've been playing more seriously since Amonkhet came out, zombies have just been the focus everywhere. Like, zombies, I've seen more zombies since I started playing when Amonkhet came out than any other time I've been playing Magic. It's like Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, zombies. Then War of the Spark, zombies. And then Kaldheim had a little bit of zombies, but no one really paid attention to them. I mean, Narfi is from Kaldheim, but now with Midnight Hunt focusing on zombies for some strange reason instead of werewolves, zombies are just ridiculous. I mean, their commanders can survive Elesh Norn, which is a big thing. In my group, there's someone who plays Elesh Norn, so the first thing I think about when I play a tribe is, can it survive Elesh Norn as a commander? You may be thinking, wow, that's really messed up. Why would somebody do that? Because they can. So the Elesh Norn deck is kind of like my staple. If Elesh Norn shuts down your entire deck, then it's probably not worth playing. That's just for me and my meta. That's just how it is. That's how I think. So looking at all the commanders right off the bat, even with Wilhelt, being the newest commander, he's already jumped up to the top zombie commander, surpassing the Scarab God. And for a good reason. Wilhelt gives you bodies on the field and lets you draw cards at the end of the turn. Great card to have. It gives you protection from board wipes to an extent. Every zombie that doesn't have decay replaces itself with a zombie that has decay. I mean, you can't argue with that. And then he gives you draw. Like, it's regardless, he still gives you draw. So when you look at zombies have a lot of support, and they have a lot of built-in support. So all their commanders are pretty strong, and they all have something to do with zombies. Wilhelt, as we just talked about, creates you more zombies and draws you cards. Verena draws you a crap ton of cards, and you gain life for zombies, plus she makes zombies. The Scarab God makes you zombies and takes your opponent's creatures and turns them into zombies. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of zombie synergies here, even amongst non-zombie legendaries. They still have zombie focuses, and zombies can be played in all 5 colors. You have Sidisi that adds green, and then you have Thraxamundar, I think I said that right, who adds in the red. So you have red, green, and then who was white? There was somebody that had white in it. I forgot who it was. Anyway, moving on. Why did I forget her name that quick? The gods. Oketra. Oketra is a white zombie commander. So if you were to play 5 color zombies, you have zombies in every color. Oh yeah, and this guy too. I forgot about the Urborg Tyrant. He's white, blue, black. Anyway, as I was saying, so you have support in 5 colors. I mean, most zombies are black focused, and then you have blue as a secondary. You have red as like an off color for zombies. White is like very niche. But zombies have really powerful support. When you look at Cleave Scab, who's one of the newest zombies, this dude is freaking amazing. I mean, yeah, he's a 4-drop. He's a 2/4, so he survives Eldritch Norn. Remember I said about that threshold. And then you can sacrifice a zombie to make... Let me mute my phone so you can't hear this conversation. So you can create 2 copies of a zombie. The thing about Cleaver Scab is that Cleaver Scab sacrifices the creature. You make 2 copies of that creature. So let's say you choose a zombie lord. Let's just say Tomb Tyrant. He's right here. If you sacrifice Tomb Tyrant and make 2 copies of him, your zombies are getting +2/+2. Then there's a way to get him back from the graveyard. Look at this. Pay 3, tap, sacrifice a creature, which if will health is on the field, you're gonna get a decayed zombie. So you can sacrifice a decayed zombie, get him back on the field. Like, come on, man. Return a zombie creature. Like, zombies have so many ways to come back from the graveyard that by sacrificing to Cleave Scab, it doesn't matter because they have other cards that get zombies back from the graveyard. It really doesn't matter. Plus you have Rooftop Storm, which is their version of Omniscience or Omniscience, however it's pronounced. I've heard so many people say it differently, and if I say it in my phone, if I say Omniscience, it spells it correctly in the voice to text thing. So I just say Omniscience. So, or Omniscience, I think some person said one day, they said Omniscience. Anyway, you have Rooftop Storm, which is a zombie version of an already powerful card. And then with what is it? With maybe it's in the jam. With Crimson Vows, you have a zombie version of this. This is what I was looking for. Reflections of what is it? Legitara? You know what I mean. This card right here. Zombies now have their own version of this card. Why is that such a big deal? All right, so this is such a big deal. Also, parallel. It's kind of like Parallel Lives also. So you have all these cards where you already have reflections. Let's say you have reflections in your deck. Reflections cost 5, and we are back. So that card that I was just talking about, being Necro Duality, is the same thing. So, but it costs less. So it costs 4, where reflections cost 5. But it's the same thing as Parallel Lives, but it's only for zombies. Come on, man. Like, come on. This is what I'm talking about. Like, vampires don't have anywhere near as much support as this. The fact that zombies can put 2 of these cards in is ridiculous. Like, it's just zombies. And it's not like it's just zombies in Magic. Zombies are just like a card game staple where it's like dragons, spellcaster types like wizards and other types like spellcasters in general, and zombies get the most support out of all card games on the planet. It's ridiculous. I don't get it, but it's a part of fantasy. It's literally a part of that fantasy like theme, so they get a ton of support. I'm not saying this to trash on zombies. If you're a zombie fan, more power to you. I'm not against it. I have friends that are zombie fans. You know, more power to you. Zombies are cool to watch. They do a lot. They have different ways to play them. They're very powerful. And I mean, they are very powerful. They have draw mechanics. They have reanimation mechanics. They have hexproof. They have menace. They have flying. Where is it? Yeah, they have flying. So they have so many things that can support them. They have so many things that are also built in, which is the thing. They have built-in mechanics where they have their own cards that support their own theme and their own playstyle, where a lot of other tribes don't have this. So the reason why I'm saying this is to get you guys' opinion. If you know about zombies in Magic the Gathering, give me your opinion, because I'm gonna go to vampires in a second. I'm a vampire fan, have been for a long time. I've said it a couple times on this channel already. But vampires don't have someone like Master of Death, which is why I stopped here. When I built my zombie deck, Master of Death gave me so much value. I dismantled the deck because I was like, this is ridiculous. This dude literally enters the battlefield surveil 2, so you can fill up your graveyard with the zombies that you need to recur them back from the graveyard onto the battlefield. You know, just from the deck, graveyard, then whatever you have, puts them on the battlefield. Easy peasy. All you have to do is play him, and he only costs 3. 1 colorless, a blue, and a black. Then you can sacrifice him to Wilhelt at the end of the turn to draw a card. Okay, you following me? Then when your next upkeep comes around, you can pay 1 life to get him to your hand and do it again. So not only are you surveilling, which is filling up your graveyard with the cards that you want, then with Wilhelt, you're able to sacrifice him at the end of the turn and draw a card. Plus, he's a zombie, so you're going to get a decayed zombie token. Yeah, you can't block with it, but so what? You're still getting another body on the field, and then you get him back on your next upkeep to play him again and do it again. Like, seriously? And then on top of that, if you have Cleaver Scab, which is something that I did in a game. Cleaver Scab, I made 2 copies of Master of Death. And when I made 2 copies of him, it just sped up the deck. It was ridiculous. It's like zombies have so much value. Arguably, I think they're probably the best tribe in the game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even Narfi comes back from the graveyard if you just use 3, snowlands, and bam, he comes back from the graveyard onto the battlefield tapped, and he pumps up your other zombies. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, zombies have so many options. They have a ton of lords. They have a ton of support. Getting into vampires don't really have a lot of tribal support, okay? We're just gonna say it like this. I'm a vampire fan. I love vampires. I'll say it again. From video games like Legacy of Kain, from board games like Vampire the Masquerade and RPGs, to, movies like Underworld and Queen of the Damned, Blade, and Blade comics, Morbius from Spider-Man when he appeared in the Spider-Man cartoon back in 94 through 96. I love vampires. I think they're awesome. And I've said it plenty of times. I love aggressive vampires like Victor from Underworld who just want to get shit done and don't want to, have questions about something. I just love vampires that are like serious about their business. Anyway, so when it comes down to vampire tribal commanders, you really don't have that many. Unlike zombies, who have tons of zombie commanders who care about zombies, vampires don't really care about vampires. They mostly care about non-vampires, which makes them suck so bad. No offense to anybody who loves vampires, it's just something that I have an issue with. So you have Edgar Markov, who is, I mean, without a doubt, the best vampire commander to have at this time, just because he's probably the only commander that actually cares about vampires. And then you have Anawan, who used to be the vampire commander, but since Ixalan, vampires are now in white a little bit more than they were in red back in the old days. So Anawan was a really good mono black vampire commander for his time. Now not so much. And Olivia doesn't care about vampires at all. Both Olivias, including the new one in Crimson Vows, she's multicolored, so she'll be at the bottom. Even the new Olivia, which I did a video on, doesn't care about vampires. Olivia, from the new ones to the old ones, have always cared about turning other creatures into vampires. She wants to make everybody a vampire so she can control them. That's her MO. The other legendaries, they just do their own thing. So, you know, you probably have Drana, who's the main, I would say personally, the main vampire commander. Drana, the last Blood Chief, cares about getting vampires back. Well, and actually, no, technically, no, she doesn't. She only cares about getting any non-legendary creature back, but they become a vampire. So it's like, even then, not really. So you really just have Anawan. I'm sorry, it's Anawan. So with Anawan, your opponent sacrifice creatures that are non-vampires, but that doesn't really help you. He doesn't support other vampires, and then he became a rogue, which doesn't make sense at all, but we're not going to get into that. So you have him, and then you have Edgar, and who else? Who else really cares about just vampires? No one. Like, Kalidas makes zombies, which literally helps my argument right here that, like, there's a vampire that cares about zombies. Like, zombies even have vampires on their side. So, like, sorry. It's just like, what are you supposed to do when it comes to vampires? Vampires have very little tribal support. Sorry. Like, they're starting to get tribal support, like Vampire Socialite, who cares about other vampires. She's a very good vampire card, but she acts more like Kyler from the human side. Kind of, not really, but you know, she's more along that effect. She does give all your vampires, what is it, Bloodthirst 1, technically, by the wording. Don't know why they just didn't make it say other vampires you control into the battlefield with Bloodthirst 1, but that's what it does. And then, you know, she gives counters, she gets counters type of thing. But there aren't too many vampires that really care about them. Like, Captivating Vampire is, you know, probably, if he was a legendary, he would be the best vampire commander out there, to be honest. Hands down, Captivating Vampire would be the best. He gives all your other vampires +1/+1. Then you tap 5 untapped vampires to take control of a creature and it becomes a vampire. That's pretty cool. But still, he's taking other creatures and turning them into vampires like Olivia. So with Ixalan, you have some vampire tribal support where it was like, okay, more vampire lords that give other vampires +1/+1, which was okay, but you know, it was like they even had their own tutoring vampire where when it enters the battlefield, search, oh, here it is, Forerunner. Each tribe in the Ixalan block had a Forerunner where when it enters the battlefield, you go get a creature of that type and then either put it on top of your deck or add it to your hand or something like that. But like I said, there really isn't that much. Like, even if you go through the list of cards, there's very little vampire support. Champion of Dust allows you to draw cards equal to the number of vampires you control, but you also lose that amount of life, which kind of doesn't make sense. Yehini is an Etherborn vampire. He/she does not really care, because I think Yehini was non-gender. I don't remember the story. The old Drana just is an ally. She pumps up everybody, not just vampires. Like vampires, they're not really a tribe that helps one another. You know, like if they focused more on the houses, like I was bringing up in the video where I talked about Strephon, the new vampire commander from Crimson Vows. If they focused on the houses, like Olivia is the head of her house, the Voldarens, right? Then you have Anjay Falconwrath, who's the head of her house. She's the head of the Falconwrath house. Well, not anymore, but she used to be the head of the Falconwraths, right? And then you have Soren Markov, which is head of House Markov. If they focused on the houses at some point in time, you would get to see, because who was it? My favorite was Stormkirk. Stormkirk were my type of vampires. Every time I see creatures from Stormkirk, they're pretty aggressive. First strike, they always want to attack. They have flying or menace or something like that. And it's like, man, what happened to Stormkirk? I haven't like read the lore on them yet, but they were my type of vampires. Red, black, aggressive, go in there, you know, flip tables, cut people's heads off, etc., etc. The stuff that I really wanted to see. And then everyone else is like parties, aristocrat types, socialites, you know, or you have like on Zendikar, you have the tribal vampires from Zendikar. What else? I'm trying to think. What were the other types of vampires that were out there? But it's like kind of like what I'm saying. Like they're all spread out. You even had Alinda, who is from Innistrad, from when I read the story, and the vampires from her house, I think it was House Dusk Rose or the Rose. I forgot what it was, House Rose or Dusk Rose. Her vampires from Innistrad all got exiled. They don't even know how Alinda got to Ixalan. Like even she doesn't know how she got on Ixalan. She has no clue. Maybe Soren took her there to hide her or something. Who knows? No clue. But her vampires like Vana came from Innistrad. No clue. So it's like if they would have focused on the houses, maybe vampires would have more support. You know, where you would have more synergies, more, you know, combos, more value from playing vampires than just generic stuff. Like more than half of the vampire decks, you don't even need vampires to make the deck. Like both Olivia, actually all three Olivias can be made into other decks where you could do Demon Tribal with Olivia Voldaren, and she's gonna turn them all into vampires at some point, and then you have Vampire Tribal because she turned them into vampires. Same thing with Olivia mobilized for war. You play a creature, discard a card, it becomes a vampire, it gets a +1/+1 counter and haste. She doesn't care if it's a vampire or not. You could play humans, red black humans with her and just turn them into vampires. She does not care. So it's like when it comes down to tribes, and some other people in my play group have said this as we're talking over chat, that vampires do not have as much support. Hopefully with the new commander set that's coming out that has Strefin. Ooh, there's a Markov vampire. Hopefully with the new commander set we get something good where it'll be as good as the zombie deck that came out in Midnight Hunt, because the Midnight Hunt zombie precon was extremely powerful, very well created. Like whoever made that commander precon really knew what they were doing, and it's beautiful to watch. Like just seeing that commander deck played as is straight out the box is amazing, and I can't I can't compliment that person enough, because they did such a good job with even Wilhelt. Like, even Wilhelt, just his design in general is great for zombies, and like his deck is just like, it needs very little upgrades. Like, depending on what you want to do with it, it's got everything you need that's in the deck. Like, all the high synergy and new cards, the top cards, the reprints, the synergies, like all this stuff is already in the deck. Like, you only need very little upgrades to make that deck even better or faster or stronger, you know, just to tailor it. And vampires don't really have anything like that, you know. So I've already talked enough. My throat hurts. It's been 26 minutes. What do you guys think about zombies versus vampires? Who do you guys feel is the stronger tribe? Do you think that the Wilhelt zombie precon will be able to keep up with the Strephon vampire tribal precon? If it's a vampire tribal precon, I have no clue. Hopefully it will be, since he does care about vampires to some degree. But you know, we'll see. But looking at him already, I mean, he allows you to put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, which is pretty cool, but you gotta sacrifice stuff to do it. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. But just to get you guys' opinion, what do you guys think about the topic? Zombies, vampires, which is the better tribe? Which one has the best support? Which one, when the dust settles from multiple Wrath of Gods and Damnations and other board wipes, will still be able to, you know, get back in the game and possibly win? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious to know, because I want to know if it's not just me. Like, is it just me? Am I crazy? Do I look down on vampires too much? Do they have really good tribal support out there that I don't know about? Maybe it's never popped up on EDH Rec, but you know, hey, there are people that have been in the game longer than me. So let me know how you guys feel, what you guys think, or if you guys know anything that I don't, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.